I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm not even supposed to be here today! Oh, fuck you!
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal. Remember, I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Get in the car.
Fuck me in the ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Really, Scott? Do you ever learn your fucking lesson every time you have made an epic movie so far? Clearly no. This guy never learns his fucking lesson any fucking time. Is as epic film bombs, his solution, make another one. And it still bombs regardless. Because the guy clearly does not do his fucking history, does not do his fucking research, learns literally nothing. Now this time around, the one that was successful, let's repeat it again, and let's actually make it shit. But it's Don G. Corleone here. Sorry this took so long, but I'm here with a brand new rant, and this rant is going to be for last year's Ridley Scott's newest epic, Gladiator 2. So what's the plot of Gladiator 2? The same exact movie as the first one. Like I said, it's a shitty version of the first one. Guess what? After Lucius this time, the kid from the first film, his home gets conquered by the emperors who now lead Rome. Same plot as the first. His girlfriend is killed. Same plot as the first one. He gets forced to enter the Colosseum and must look to his past to find strength to return to the glory of Rome to its people. Same plot as the first. All of it. So, as for my reaction, long before this movie had came out, I was not excited for this. I knew from the very start that this was planned. This was immediately going to fail. It was not going to get good reviews. It was going to epically bomb. I knew that from the start, and so did many other people that loved the first one. They knew this was not going to do good business. This was going to be a very bad movie. It was going to fuck with the first film's ending. But a lot of studios, a lot of the public did not listen. Some were still hyped for this anyway. And also, because here's the thing, Gladiator was a great film, but it's only a one and done movie. One and done. Beginning, middle, and an end. Not to mention, Ridley Scott today, Ridley Scott used to make good shit. Now this guy's just dog shit. He's now an egotistic prick, and every time a historian keeps trying to bash his work and trying to point out what really happened, he'll get all mad. It's like, what? Hey, back off. I'm smarter than all of you. Or quote Danny DeVito from Matilda. I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it. At them. Every single time. Showing the guy can't take one bit of fucking criticism. Yeah, the guy who's every time he makes an epic film that is not Gladiator, they all flopped at the box office. 1492, that was made before Gladiator. Guess what? It flopped at the box office. 5 years after Gladiator, he then did Kingdom of Heaven. Guess what? It flopped at the box office and only made $47 million in fucking North America. Yeah. What else did they do? Oh, then he got brought back Russell Crowe to make a Robin Hood adaptation prequel. Guess what? It flopped at the box office. Then he made a shitty version of Prince of Egypt, the DreamWorks animation film called Exodus: Gods and Kings. Guess what? It flopped at the box office. Then he made The Last Duel. Guess what? It was the biggest flop at the box office because nobody went to see the fucking film. Then, the year before this movie, he did Napoleon. And it flopped at the box office, but it's rumored it probably did well on streaming because it was an Apple TV original film. So it got spared on streaming, but it still flopped at the box office, and it got the worst backlash from historians. Yeah, because it was so inaccurate to how Napoleon really was. And now that leads us to this. So I had saw the film in theaters, but I didn't have time to review it, so I had to rewatch the film. It's still a piece of shit. Is it as bad as, let's say, Alien Romulus or Joker Fully Dukes or Emilia Perez or those films? No. It's not as insufferable as, let's say, worse Ridley Scott movies, like there's Exodus. They now aged badly, Alien Covenant. It's not as... I wouldn't say it's as nearly boring as some of his other epics are, but this was just pointless and boring. It's like you're literally watching a Saturday Night Live parody of Gladiator. It's literally a Saturday Night Live parody. Right there, and God, this is just proof. Ridley Scott needs to go the fuck away, never direct another movie ever again. Retire. You have not made anything worth a shit since The Martian. And you never will, likely, at this rate. You can't direct worth a shit no more. Basically, same with James Cameron. But James Cameron's not going to retire because his Avatar movies are successful. And because basically the only stuff he's going to make is Avatar for the rest of his life. He's going to last because those films make $2 billion. Ridley Scott... No, this guy has not made a single successful film at the box office since The Martian. And that was 10 years ago soon. Ridley Scott needs to go away for good. Or stop making historically epic films if you can't even be accurate for 1 fucking second. But how was this film made? Well, apparently, a sequel was discussed as early as June 2001, and John Logan and David Franzoni were going to return. And then in the next few years, Scott offered occasional updates, like the possible involvement of Russell Crowe, apparently, maybe an idea where he'd come back from the dead, plot ideas for, Afterlife. But then development got halted when DreamWorks got sold to Paramount in 2006. And it was cancelled until 2018 when it got finally announced. Paul Mescal got cast as our new Russell Crowe in January 2023, and script by Scarpa, and filming took place between June 2023 and January 2024, went on 5 months because of the Hollywood strikes. This is Hollywood nowadays. You either make sequels, way too late sequels to films. Either we need more Twister 2s, we need more Alien Romuluses, we need more Disney, holy shit. We need a 4th Jurassic World movie, because that's what the people really want. Oh, guess what? Disney's making more fucking Star Wars movies! A Star Wars film with Ryan Gosling! Fucking stop making Star Wars! It's over! For the love of shit! Please stop doing any more damn motherfucking Star Wars movies! For the love of shit, it's over! It died with Carrie Fisher! It died with James Earl Jones! Fuck Disney! Stop! Stop with fucking Star Wars. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Let the franchise rest in peace with Carrie Fisher, James Earl Jones, and every other actor who has passed on. Shit! So, after Gladiator 2 was shot and marketed, Gladiator 2 would premiere in Sydney, Australia last year on October 30th, 2024. Then it got released in the United Kingdom on November 15th, 2024, and then the United States the next week on November 22nd, 2024. This film, it got mixedly positive reviews, but it did not get the same acclaim as the first one. Somehow, the paid critics liked the performances. For what? Direction? What direction? Action? What good action was there? The criticism got directed at the emotional tone, being similar to its predecessor, and once again, because this is Ridley Scott, the guy who thinks he's so smart when he's not, historical inaccuracies, still breeding his never-ending inaccurate fucking ego. And I think grossed over the 400 million mark, but I think this had a really huge expensive budget, like 200 something. So, but that's not a flop, Don G. Corleone. Okay, how about this? Include the advertising, include the marketing, include the money you have to pay the cast. That's probably really expensive. So it's probably still a bomb. Right there. And somehow this got Denzel Washington a Best Supporting Actor nomination at the Golden Globe Awards. For what? For literally acting like he's drunk or on drugs and yelling like a fucking cartoon most of the film and looking bored as shit, including just in this movie for the money, because Ridley Scott knew that he worked with his brother Tony Scott on several films, who may he rest in peace, and he was honestly a better director than Ridley is now. Like hell, no, I'll get to that stuff later. So yeah. The plot of the first film is cited often, and do you have cheesy flashbacks to remind us of the first movie? This story takes a terrible nosedive after the end of the first film. You get a messy script with no respect for Russell Crowe's character or any of the original characters in their backgrounds. The movie is basically a repeat of the first film, except it's shit, and it's basically now just over the top now at this rate. And the dialogue gets ranged from banal to pretentious, and the ultra-violent action scenes become tedious in its repetition. And of course, the new music, with some of it just reusing the score from the first movie, lacks the emotional driving power and influence on the narrative of the original, and it's no surprise that the most emotive scenes are just flashback excerpts that make use of the first Hans Zimmer score from the first movie. They even reuse it in the end of the first movie as well. The cinematography here, you get a bunch of shitty video game PlayStation 3 CGI, some disappointing acting that somehow got praised. And the film descends into farce with a scene in the Coliseum where now you get, apparently, they're now fighting some weird reason. They're now fighting baboons, which I looked up. They did not fight any baboons in the Coliseum. That never happened. I think there were rhinos involved because you get a CGI rhino in here. I think there were rhinos. I think there were. But where there was no baboons, there was especially no fucking sharks. Like, how the fuck did they get a shark into this area? The arena, yeah, there were times when the arena would be flooded with water and there would be water boat fights, but there were certainly no sharks. And you can't get a shark anywhere else. It's fucking impossible. And somehow, Ridley Scott's able to get these Gladiator characters to do it. Because he thinks he knows history so much. So, how do we start? Well, we start off with some drawn animation flashbacks of the first one. And then it says, a fuck you to the first film's fans text. 16 years after Maximus's death, his dream of Rome has been forgotten about. Yeah. Basically, the movie starts off with a middle finger. A middle finger to the great ending of the first one by saying Maximus died for nothing. And now it got corrupted anyway again by two loser villain twins named Greta and Caracella, with their dad played by Denzel Washington in a goofy-ass role. So, meanwhile, Hanno, the refugee, is living in the North African kingdom with his wife. Then the Roman army, led by Atticus, invades and conquers the kingdom, and guess what? His girlfriend is killed, because we need to repeat the first film again. Hanno gets enslaved, much like Maximus in the first film. And the slaves get taken to Ostia, where the Romans pit them against baboons, advertised them as potential gladiators this time. In the first movie, The gladiators being advertised fought each other. Each other. They did not fight fucking monkeys. They sure shit did not fight fucking gorillas. Hano then savagely kills a baboon, which impresses Marcinus and promises Hano an opportunity to kill Acacus if he wins enough fights in Rome. So, Acacus returns to Rome as a war hero, and Greta Carcel arranged a bunch of gladiator games in the Colosseum to celebrate his victory, but Acacus is disillusioned with war, and he wants a break with his wife Lucilla. Yeah, who's back in this one. Yeah, and the daughter of Aurelius. The emperors refuse and plot to conquer Persia and India. Yeah, and get this. Acacus is literally played by Pedro Pascal, who I like. Now, when it comes to him, I liked him acting wise in The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. I liked him acting wise in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I liked him acting wise in The Wild Robot. But I don't like him as a person. Because apparently because from what I've heard, he does a lot of stupid shit online. So I'm not a fan of him as a person. Acting wise, I could deal with him in some stuff, but I'm not a fan of him as a person in real life. And I'm honestly getting tired of seeing this guy appear in movies everywhere now. This guy's appearing in way too much stuff. But so yeah. Our first fight happens. Hano wins the first fight, and he recites a verse from Aeneid, and reveals his Roman education to the emperors, and raising Messinus' suspicion, so Acacus and Lucilla conspire with Thrax and send Goshus to overthrow the emperors and restore the Roman Republic. So yeah, so that's how our repeat of the first film starts off. So you have many aspects, like the characters and the use of animals. They're wildly exaggerated because we're now way too over the top at this rate. We need to be a parody of the first film at this rate. So battle scenes are just so over the top that they would have never happened in real life. And many are going to be saying, but it's a movie. Movies aren't supposed to be realistic, so why are you getting mad at this movie? Because it sucked. That's why. Like, if you're trying to make a film about ancient Rome, why does it have to feel like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon? Like, the first film may not have been historically accurate either, but the first film actually had a good story. Had a well-written script. And the first film back then, they knew what they were doing. That's why it worked. That's why it was the one Ridley Scott epic that did not bomb. And got praised. Because of the good story it had. And you actually connected with Russell Crowe. Paul Mescal in this movie, you don't connect with him at all because most of the film he just comes off as a grumpy brat. The film tries to do so many things, and it does not work. You waste a bunch of good actors. You have Denzel Washington just looking bored out of his mind. And often yelling stupid shit in most of his scenes. This story, it's the first film, except if the first film's story was badly written. Right there. And you have too many callbacks to the first one because this is an era where you gotta have nostalgia. Hey, remember the first Gladiator? Do you remember this movie? Yeah, I remember the first movie. I can just watch it on my TV at home. Right there. And most of our cutbacks feel like a 1990s clip show. And you have stupid opening titles, like, right here. And you get way too much references, like, remember how much you loved the first movie? Yeah, we remember that. We remember that. We could just watch it at our houses. We'll just watch it at our houses. That's how we'll remember it. And the story of Geta and Caracalla is not even that compelling at all. And it's barely accurate. Yeah, historical epics. Not every historical epic needs to be accurate. What I should clarify. But if you're not going to be historically accurate, at least try to have a good story. And don't try to make some epic action movie out of it. So when Hano wins these fights, Hano emulates the late legendary gladiator Maximus in the first film, the one that sacrificed his life for his freedom, and now that's all for nothing, to win the fights in the Colosseum. And Lucilla, while spectating, overhears the Emperor's quote the poetry Hano recited, and realizes Hano's her son, Lucius, who we already now found out. And apparently after Maximus died, she had to send Lucius away from Rome as a child to protect him from rivals to the throne. So much for this guy being safe, in a way. And during this one fight in the Colosseum, Lucius leads the gladiators to victory and fires a crossbow at the spectating Actus, but fails to kill him. So, Lucilla invites Lucius and tries to reconnect with him, but angrily rebuffs her, and resents being forced to flee Rome because he's mad that, why'd you send me away from Rome? And your new husband caused Arishet's death. Why would you marry him? Ugh. But then Lucilla reveals to Lucius, you're Maximus' son, and I had to send you away to save your life. And you must use Maximus' strength to survive all these fights. Like, oh my god, like, Connie Nielsen is back as Lucilla in this movie, and her performance is also fucking awful. And literally, you can tell she clearly did not want to be in this film. And her performance in this film clearly shows. But then Lucius befriends this gladiator physician named Ravi, who shows him Maximus' grave underground that they really secretly did, because Maximus' name got scribbled out, and the grave includes Maximus' sword and armor from the first movie. Then Lucilla and Acicus conspire to free Lucius, part of their plot to dethrone the emperors, but Thrax owns the money from Macrinus. He forms the conspiracy, and so Lucilla and Acicus are arrested for treason. Then Macrinus advises the Emperor to have Acicus killed in the Colosseum, and arranges for Lucius to fight him. But Acicus is like, wait, don't kill me. I really love your mother. I have love and respect for both your mother and Maximus. But so Lucius is like, I don't want to execute him. But of course, everyone's like, kill, have him kill. And these Denzel Washington's two dumbass brats, like, yeah, kill him. And so they fired crossbows into Pedro Pascal's character, and he's dead. So people are like, what? How dare you do that? And they're all mad about that. And then Macrinus questions Lucius' refusal to kill Acicus, and Lucius argues that Rome can be a better place. Like, yeah, so we've had CGI rhino fights. We had one fight where they're fighting themselves. We had a fight with fucking sharks. Which, how the fuck is that possible? Like, I'm surprised they didn't just play a Disney song during the shark fight, you know? Like, maybe Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid. Like, during the shark fight, you could have had sha-la-la-la-la-la, don't be shy, or you were just missing that, or just have Sebastian sing Under the Sea during the shark fights, you were just only missing that. Like, seriously, you can't get a shark out of the water. It's impossible. They are fierce. They can bite anybody. And it could die on land. Quick. The Roman stuff was flooded. Yes, but they did not fight sharks. My god. And that's not epic. It's just stupid. And the battle scenes, they all feel like something out of Game of Thrones or Hunger Games. And apparently, yeah. Apparently ancient Rome had genetically engineered monkeys in today's world. You have giant ships, CGI ships sailing the Colosseum. Yeah, that did happen. There were water fights in the Colosseum, but there are definitely no white sharks that somehow can survive on land. Like, what? Apparently Ridley Scott wants to do a third one of these. So what? Are we going to have, what? Are they going to fight a bunch of fucking aliens? Are they going to fight a bunch of fucking robots? Are they going to take Rome to outer fucking space? Is that going to be the third film? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something stupid like that. Like, what other stupid shit are they going to do if they do a third one? Like, yeah, they bring back some of the original cast, like, except for Russell Crowe, because his character died in the first one. Connie Nielsen, who sounds like she doesn't even want to be in the film. Yeah, like, and of course, and clearly you can tell there's some clear plastic surgeries to change her appearance. And of course, Lucilla. Now, like, Lucilla barely doesn't play much of a role in the film other than to just give Lucius advice and why she had him leave Rome, or just how to survive. And of course, like, I know everybody apparently praised Denzel Washington in this movie, but his performance wasn't even good. He looks bored. One, he looked like he was bored as fuck. He acted way too over the top, like as if he was drunk on wine or something. And somehow that got Golden Globe nominated. And literally, instead of while everyone in the movie speaks a more British accent, he literally is the only one that sounds like a straight up 2024 accent. Right there, and barely acts like a Roman general. God, man. There's Denzel Washington, I prefer him in roles where he can actually flex his range. Here, this is not one of them. He has even silly-ass quotes like, "Will no one kill this barbarian?" near the end of the film, or just doing such weird-ass shit. Or just having the same facial expression most of the film because he clearly didn't want to be in this, and only did this film for the money. But really, Scott clearly wanted him to work with him because he worked as his brother in movies that were actually good, not this. And everything that was done in the original, that's all done there, and it was done better. Paul Mescal gave a bad performance, was just basically just wannabe repeat Russell Crowe, except not even an interesting character, and a character you don't give a shit about. Trying to be all over the top and goofy as shit, just trying to make some over the top action film and not giving a shit about making a good story. Like having sharks and baboons. So, Macronus manipulates Carcella to believing that Greta is going to blame him for the riots that are going on in Rome now, so Carcella kills one of his brats, named Geta, with Macronus' help. And so, Lucilla and Lucius reconcile, gives him her father's ring that had belonged to Maximus and Akakis. And so, Carcella becomes delusional. He names his pet monkey as a consul that accompanies him throughout the film, and Marcellus persuades the Senate that he can restore order, assumes control of the Praetorians, and reveals to Lucius that he was a slave under Aurelius' rule, and is going to avenge himself and become emperor. So, Macronus convinces Caracalla to have Lucilla executed in the Colosseum for the final fight, and only Lucius to defend her, and hoping their deaths to trigger another riot in the Senate will defuse by executing Caracalla. So, Lucius then sends Ravi with the reign to request military aid from Akakis' legions outside of Rome. Then Lucilla gets brought to the Colosseum with the senators that she conspire with, and Lucius rallies the gladiators to revolt against their enslavers. And so, Lucilla gets Lucius is now armed with Maximus' sword and armor, and so he frees the least of gladiators to defend Lucilla from execution, because we're just repeating the finale of the first one. Gracchus gets killed in Onslaught, pretty much, and Macronus kills his other annoying bratty son, so he killed both his sons, basically. And then, of course, makes the whole entire rescuing of Lucilla pointless, because just as Lucius is about to free her, Macronus, give me the bow, shoots, boop! She dies anyway. So what's the point of this finale? She just dies. What was the fucking point of this whole finale if she's gonna die anyway? God damn it. Then, of course, Macronus says, "Uh-oh, I pissed off the Roman people. I gotta escape the city." And Lucius like, "Hey, come back here. You killed my mother." And just lazy writing. Because Lucius loses his girlfriend quickly without even seeing much scenes. And then he mourns intensely for on screen, and then by midpoint, they forget this girl exists because she was barely a character in the movie, and Lucius barely shows signs of mourning or remembrance, like he just forgot about her at all. Then you have an arc with Denzel being an over-the-top fool, right here that just... And you have several cheesy flashback clips of the first one to remind you in your face of the first one multiple times, like Maximus telling Lucius about the horses, or Maximus grabbing handfuls of dirt. And then credits at the end, reusing the same lazy score of the first film. And all these call-outs really just give this film just nostalgia-baiting money grab and capitalize on the classic that came out 24 years, the one that was actually good, not this movie. Like, from both the opening war sequence to the gladiator baboons, like, the CGI just takes the viewer out of the movie every time. The point where it feels like you're watching a video game. And I'd rather play a video game, not watch a video game for the PS3 get thrown onto the big screen. If you're going to do that, be faithful to the video game instead. And they literally lazily use a shot of the original Lucius from, well, apparently was a cutscene from the original, but they replaced it with a different actor to complete the scene. Just like that. So, now we get on to the finale where after Macrinus has fled, Acacus, his legions, and Macrinus' Praetorians meet outside Rome. And so, Lucius and Macrinus then stop this battle, they duel all the way, and then apparently, Macrinus nearly kills Lucius in a dirty-ass muddy water river. And Lucius gets inspired by Mother's voice, use your strength. And so he grabs a rock and he kills Macrinus, just cuts off his arm in over-the-top CGI gore, and then cuts his stomach, and then Macrinus is dead. It reveals his identity as the Imperial Hire, and convinces both armies to build a united Rome with him. And then, of course, Lucius mourns his parents in the Colosseum. Literally, the same exact scene as Chidwell's character from the first film, or Dimitri Huzin's character from the first film, burying Maximus's figurines in the Colosseum and then leaving. Same exact scene, where this time Lucius is mourning both his parents in the Colosseum. You just copied the same exact ending as the first. That's how Gladiator 2 also ends. Right here. And now this 135-minute short ends in general. Gladiator 1 was 455 minutes long, and it went by like a breeze. Gladiator 2 was 135 minutes long, and it felt like a painfully long-ass film to get through. With how grim it gets towards the final half hour, the plot caves in on itself with the boring Paul Mescal spouting rousing speeches about the nature of Rome, key characters getting killed off for no reason and little to no emotional impact, and skipping over questions how Rome even came to remain an empire if it's just going to be corrupted again, making Maximus die for nothing. And the ending of the first film, that saw the city given back to the People's Republic. That never happened. They were corrupt again. It's just a pointless sequel to begin with. The first film, it wasn't realistic, but it was a well-written story, so the cheesy moments were earned. This one is because Ridley Scott knew nobody liked his other epics, so he just decided to make a sequel thinking he could just win back his crowd. It did not work at all, because you've damaged your career enough with too many shitty films. You have not made anything worth a shit since The Martian, and you're never going to make anything worth a shit again after this. You need to retire, never direct another epic again, never direct another movie again, go away, just retire for good, and never direct another film ever again. That's what I have to say to you, Ridley. Now, is there even any good qualities with the film? Well, I guess maybe there is. I mean, I'll give the movie credit for introducing a not bad plot twist with Macrinus, but the movie doesn't really exploit that to the fullest. And, well, there is some decent practical whenever the practical does happen, and that's about it. But other than that, Gladiator 2, it's another gore fest, and it's pretty much a shitty SNL parody of the first film that could definitely be avoided. So in the end, Gladiator 2, it's so an avoid for fans of Gladiator and fans of Ridley Scott, because this is a boring, unneeded second film that exists just to be another ego trip for Ridley Scott, still thinking he's all cool, thinking he knows all history, and still need an excuse to insult more historians that try to criticize his work and be over the top in his fight scenes. And he'll also get mad and complain about everything, such as Marvel or stuff. Like, yeah, Marvel sucks today, but the way he complains, it just feels insulting. And even I don't complain about every single thing like he does. Anyways, guys, this is my rant on Gladiator 2. And if we're going to go rank Gladiator 2, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you loved Gladiator, then you don't need to watch Gladiator 2 because there was no reason for this to be made or even be seen by fans at all. It just exists to be a boring version of the first film. And if we're going to rank Gladiator 2, I'm going to give Gladiator 2 a 4 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up my rant on Gladiator 2. Now, I want to know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Gladiator 2, whether you loved it, so were you one of the few that loved it, or whether you're also one of the many who hated it. Until then, that'll be it for this rant. Thank you all for watching. If you like this one to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to Don G. Corleone.